Before we start the lesson two, how to define the generic brand, I'd like to show you guys a video. The video is actually from the TED Talk. It talks about how to send a message to your target audience and how to define and how to design a personal brand for a generic product. So let's see the video, and then when we come back, let's talk about more.
The ultimate weapon to landing that dream job, what is it? Is it a perfect GPA? Is it a college degree? Or is it a resume? Perhaps it is a personal brand. Although I can't guarantee you that a personal brand will solve all of these problems, I can, however, promise that when done with intention and purpose, a personal brand will enable you to meet interesting people and unlock disruptive opportunities. Before I dig deeper into the what and how of a personal brand, I'd like to share with you the why and why personal branding matters so much to me. To help illustrate this point, I'd like to share with you a photo. That's me in the center. I was born in Vietnam, where both my parents never attended high school. They were both hard-working street vendors who were selling a popular street snack in Vietnam called the hot buns. If I were to have stayed in Vietnam, I most likely would have followed their footsteps in becoming a street vendor as well. Fortunately, at the age of 6, my parents decided to immigrate to the United States with nothing with them in hope of a better future for me and my brother. Despite the early challenges, such as being a second language learner or assimilating to the American culture, I ultimately, through perseverance and determination, made it to college, where I attended the #1 public university in the world, UC Berkeley. Go Bears! At UC Berkeley, I quickly realized that hard work and staying up all night and a college degree were simply table stakes in today's competitive job market. What I realized is less about what you know, but more about who you know. And during that time, I was enamored by the tech boom within Silicon Valley. I was interested in working for Facebook, Apple, and the Google. But I realized the question that I had to answer was that I had no connection to this world. I didn't have a family friend, a cousin, or an uncle, or a sibling in this industry. I knew nobody. And that's when I turned to personal branding. I realized through personal branding, I was able to position myself as someone who was an enthusiastic, a young millennial marketer who was invested in his development and success. And through that, I met many interesting mentors. Some of these mentors are here today. One of my mentors at Apple, who gave me the opportunity to work for one of the world's most beloved brands. I met my mentor at Forbes, who guided me through my marketing journey, ultimately leading me to becoming one of the youngest Forbes 30 under 30 at the age of 22. Finally, I met many interesting writers and editors at LinkedIn who believed in my story and shared my narrative at scale to a readership of over 100,000 people to millions as well. Now that I've talked to you a little more about the why behind the personal brand, let's talk about what is a personal brand. There's a lot of misconception when it comes to personal branding. A lot of people find it very fake. They don't believe that it's real, it's disingenuous, not authentic. And many people are afraid that it will do more harm than good. But what if I tell you that a narrative or a personal brand that's not shaped by you will be formed and told by others? Do you want to take that risk? Ultimately, when done with intention and purpose, a personal brand can do more benefits than harm. That being said, I'd like to share with you a concept to help better define what is a personal brand. Sharing you with the concept of voice and tone. Many of us here have a very authentic and unique voice to us. This voice is recognized by our peers, parents, and managers. However, we also have many tones in our life. These tones are the way we interact with many people through different contexts and different purpose. For example, when I speak to my parents, I'm trying to demonstrate respect, while when I speak to my colleagues and manager, I'm trying to demonstrate leadership. Your voice will always stay true to you, but your tone will change over time based on your audience and context and purpose. That being said, what is a personal brand? A personal brand is the intersection of perception and reality, not just perception. For as a personal brand that is constructed purely on perception will tumble on its own weight. So what is a personal brand then, if it's not just perception? It's you. You are at the heart and the epicenter of your personal brand. Your personal brand needs to be led by your voice and ultimately be supported by an interconnected web of personality, passion, and interest. Here, I'm humanizing this whole concept through emojis because I want to let you know that this part is very humanizing. A personal brand doesn't have to be superficial. It doesn't have to be supported by a team of 10 people. It can be supported by you. One thing that you can do at home tonight is think about the 7 emoji that represent you as a professional, but also a person as well. So now that I've covered the why and the what of a personal brand, so how can you incorporate personal branding to your life as well? We're all so different. So I will be lying up on the stage if I tell you that I have the perfect guide to building a personal brand. And I take that back. Not even building. Building assumes that personal branding can be done with step 1, step 2, step 3. But as a matter of fact, personal branding can be done through a designing approach. And today I want to share with you some of those building blocks to help you better design your personal brand. Embraced. Embrace your identity. Embrace your adversity. Embrace your diversity. Embrace your whole self. Only then can people know who you are. Vulnerability is an opportunity. For example, as an immigrant and second language learner, I've always been shameful and fearful that my employers would only hire me if I was a native speaker. However, when I share this information with my manager, with my peers, with my colleagues, they found that I was going to bring a different perspective to the workplace. And so that liability turned into an opportunity. Ultimately, by sharing your backstory, this breathes life to your personal brand, the motivation, the passion behind your career interests. Create. Create value for your audience. Create value for your network. In other words, consume and curate good content, relevant content. Have a reason to speak. In early 2015, I decided to take on LinkedIn to write 1 post a month as a New Year resolution. And by the end of the year, I posted over 30 times. And throughout that time, I was able to interact with many interesting people throughout the world. Some students reached out to me from Denmark, saying that my writing has helped inspire them to be a marketer, whereas some writing has helped create conversation at a national level. Over a course of a year, I realized that I have touched over 1 million people through my writing. And so write with the intention to impact. Write with the intention to create value. For only when you create value for others will other people see the value in you. And being able to create value is to position yourself as the top of mind. Think about publishing long-form thought leadership pieces on LinkedIn or Medium or your personal blog. Have a reason to drive dialogue. Position yourself as top of mind in your industry. Don't just farm relationships, grow them. Many people see personal branding as a number game. They think that the more people you know, the better it will be. I believe that it's more about depth rather than width. It's not about how many people you know. It's more about how many people you know and how well you know them as well. Don't be transactional when it comes to outreach. Think about reaching out for people for advice and not for favors. Personal branding is ultimately, at its core, about building your network and your relationship. Online, engage with your mentors, engage with the people that follow you. Think about ways you can add value to them, bringing back to the second principle. Think about ways you can check in with your mentors via email, sharing great quality content, a blog post that you read. And ultimately, offline, attend conferences, dinners, or better yet, host them. I personally host many dinners myself, thinking about the way I can connect with people inside and outside of my industry. So don't just think about growing your relationship with people within your industry. Think about ways you can engage with people outside your industry. The way I think about relationship building is through a 50-30-20 approach. 50% of your time should be spent with people who you aspire to be, leaders in your industry. 30% should be spent with time with people who are in your proximity peers, people that are your colleagues, your peers. They're going through their career with you. And 20% of the time should be spent paying it forward to people that look up to you. They're your mentees. And throughout your career, as I hope you mature your career, that this concept can flip over, where 50% of your time can be spent paying it forward. So to recap, there are no such thing as a manual to building a personal guide. A personal branding is mainly the idea, the representation of the best of you, your flaws, your triumph, your challenges, but also your successes as well. Today, I've shared with you the why, the what, and the how to personal branding. I took on the stage of TEDx to embrace my identity, a part of me that I've rarely shared with many people. Ultimately, I was able to share my value through my personal branding experience, my background with you, and I hope that's added value to your life as well. And beyond this talk, I'm looking forward to growing and cultivating our relationship in person and online as well through the various social media channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, and follow me on Twitter as well. And that's my personal branding, I'm just kidding. Yes, and so at the end of the day, I want to share with you some of these principles so you can do this, and it doesn't have to take 10 people to manage your personal brand. You can do it yourself as well. So to conclude, this is a transformation of the son of two hot bun street vendors from Vietnam, from an immigrant from a disadvantaged background to a storyteller and entrepreneur in Silicon Valley today. And this is what I call the designing of a purposeful personal branding from zero to infinity.
Okay, so now we finished the video. One question for you guys. What is brand? What do you think the brand is? Is the brand is brand a logo, or is a brand is an advertisement, or is a brand is just an idea, just a concept? Actually, the brand is something that can help you to make money. Brand is your tool. Brand is not some of the concept. So take a thinking. There's normal coffee in the convenience store. They sell you maybe 30 Taiwan dollars per cup, and there's Starbucks coffee. They sell you maybe 80 or 90 or 100 NT dollars per cup. What is the differentiation between the two brands? What is the brand uses in this situation, in this example? Brand is help you to make more money. Brand is what help you. If you and your competitor you have the same product, the target audience, the clients, the customer, they still want to buy from you. They still want to give you money to get the same product but the higher price. So this is what brands you. Brand is to help you to make more money with nothing. So later I will show you some of the example to show you what is brand, how can we do the brand, how do we define the generic brand with the generic product. So right now, let's take a look the coffee brand. Those are from Taiwan, and those brands are actually from the same company but different brand. So let's take the 30 minutes video of the right side, the Cafe Plaza.
宽广的心，宽广的未来，统一咖啡广场。
Alright, now we finished both video and advertisement of the two coffee brand. So it's actually very interesting because actually the two coffee brand, they're actually from the same company, the same brand. They are all from the Uni company. The name of the company is called Uni, and in the beginning they launched the Cafe Plaza. The Cafe Plaza, they only sell only $10, 10 Taiwan dollars for one coffee. But later on, they use the same material, the same ingredients, the same content, but they sell you for 50 NTD for the same ingredient, but a different package. So what is the difference between brand? What is different between a good brand or a bad brand? What is the differentiation between the cheap brand and expensive brand? So let's take a look. Actually, the Cafe Plaza in the advertisement, you can see The people in the advertisement, they're young people, they're a teenager. They don't want to sit in the fancy coffee shop, and they don't want to drink coffee very slow. They just want the caffeine. They just need a quick and cheap caffeine. And they're the young people. They don't have money, but they have a lot of energy, and they want to have coffee to support their physics performance. Or in the daytime, they want to do a lot of things. They need a lot of energy. So this is why they drink, and this is why they buy the Cafe Plaza, because they don't have enough time and they don't have enough money. They just need the 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 fast, the quick caffeine with the cheap price. So this is why the Cafe Plaza, they only sell for 10 NTD instead of 40 or 50. But in the right side, you can see some of the picture and the layout of the copy. You see some building in something like in France, because actually the coffee cup in the right side is actually 5 times of the the price uh, compared to the Cafe Plaza. Um, Actually, the name of the coffee brand is called Cafe Latte. Actually, the reason why they can sell for the price can be raised up for 5 times is actually they are telling you a story. They're selling people that who cares about the story. They're selling people who cares about the taste, the style, and the looks of the cup. So actually, Cafe Latte is telling you a story that maybe 500 years ago, there's a bunch of philosopher and poet and writer who all gathering around in a coffee shop in in the river coffee shop in France, in Paris. um, every day they get along in the coffee shop that talks about the philosophy, that talks about the book, that talks about the science and everything, and they talks about everything in this coffee shop, and they drink cafe latte. So the two differentiation between these two brands, you can see they even though they use the same ingredient, they basically serve the same product but a different package. They upgrade the package, they change the market, and they also change the target audience. So, what target audience they changed? In the Cafe Plaza example, they're selling the coffee to young people, to teenagers. But in the Cafe Latte, they're selling the product to the middle-aged classic people or rich people who want to. Coffee for them is not just about the drink, it's not just about the energy, it's about the taste, it's about the classic. So they also selling people the story that happened in the Paris in 500 years ago. So when you create a story, when you telling the customer the story, it will connect with them with the emotional feeling. So you need to create an emotional feeling to let the customer who willing to pay you more money with the same product. So this is the power of brand, and this is what it is. This is the chapter 2 that we are talking about. We are talking about the brand. So the good brand and the bad brand. What is differentiation? The good brand is that even though we are selling you the same ingredient, the same product, and the clients also know, even though they know this, but they were still willing to pay more to buy from you. This is the power of brand, and this is why the brand nowadays which is very important, because if you don't have the special and unique product, if your product is very generic, just like the tourist industry, then you need to think through your brand strategy. The brand is very important. So now we have go through what is the brand. Then Afterwards, I'll teach you guys and lead you guys how to create your own brand strategy. So let's recap for a little bit. What is a brand? Brand is actually combined with several elements. So a brand can be a blueprint. A brand is a master plan of your customer experience. It needs to be delivered consistently across all areas of your business to help build trust and loyalty in your brand. So, brand is not just about the fancy package, it's also about the trust from the customer, it's also about the loyalty from the customer. So, in order to create a good brand, you get to need a blueprint, a good blueprint, and blueprint is combined with also consistency across all area of your business. You know, to build trust, to build the loyalty. This is what it is. This is the brand we need to do. So second, as a brand, as a good brand, you need to build a very good relationship with your customer. A brand is also a thought, feeling, and philosophy and relationship between a business and the customer. When we talk about the business, we talk about the people. When we talk about the people, we talk about the relationship. So as a good brand, as a new brand, you need to build a very good relationship. You need to build a new relationship, which is connected with the target audience. And third, agreement. A brand is a promise of what the consumer will experience from your business. So, what is your agreement? What is something that you promise from your customer? What is something you promise your customer you will provide to them? You need to follow your agreement. You need to think of your agreement. When you do a good agreement and you actually achieve it, then your promise will become even more special. So this is also a brand, a good brand who need to think of. And then nature. A brand is an inherent nature of your business, the personality, the character, the style. It is the emotional association to your brand. So, which I just mentioned before, you need to create a personality, a emotional association to your brand. So actually, you are creating a very emotional atmosphere to let your clients to pay you more and more and more that they don't even notice it. So that is the item that nature talks about. A brand is the inherent nature of your business, the personality, the character, the style. It is emotional association to your brand. And then distinctive. Branding makes your business stand out from the crowd. It is the unique identity of your business. So, the distinctive is talks about the differentiation. So, in the red ocean market, everyone doing the same thing. How can you stand out? If you just can provide the same product, well, don't get me wrong. If you can provide the unique product, maybe you don't need you don't put so much effort on the brand because your product is very special. But let's talk about the tourism industry. Basically, in this tourism industry, tour and the service to the customer, they just looks like the same because those product is the destination, and destination is not your own property. It's not your own intellectual property. So basically, every competitor, they have the same product. So when we talk about it, the branding is very important because that makes you stand out from the competitor, from the bunch of the same product. Even though you're selling the same product, but they will buying from you, they will pay you more. This is the power of brand. So BRAND, the blueprint, relationship, agreement, nature, and distinctive. So let's recap for a little bit. Brand is also a name, a term, a sign, a symbol, or a design, or a combination of things that intended to identify the goods or product or service of one seller or group, and to differentiate them from those of competitors. Basically, the brand is help you to stand out, to help you, even though you're selling the same product, but you get to talk, you get to negotiate with the supplier, you get to negotiate the price with your client because your brand is unique. Even though your product may be the same, but your value is brand. So I'm not saying that the brand is even more important than the product. I'm saying that if your product or your service is a generic product and service, then the branding will play a very important role to the things you have to do in the future. So, in this chapter, we will talk about the three things. First of all, I'll lead you guys to drive the strategy. The drive the strategy means that to recognize your differentiation with others. And second, I'll lead you guys to think through your market positioning. You have to do something. You have to do the choices. If you want to choose everything, if you want to do everything, then you don't have the strategy. So market positioning, no choices, no strategy. So, and at the last, I'll teach you guys and lead you guys how to define the customer group, how to design what types of target audience that you want to catch. So, um, we can take maybe a 2 or 3 minutes break, and when we come back, we will carry on and talks about the three things that we are showing on the monitor right now. First, to drive the strategy differentiation, like what I have mentioned before. If you want to start a brand, the first of all you need to think of your blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy, the next step is to set up and drive the strategy. To set up your own strategy to find your own differentiation with the others. And then second, now you have product, but you need to find out what types of markets you want to go, what position you want to take in this product, and you have to make choices. If you want to choose the young people, then you will lose the older people because they all want a different thing. You can want to do both. The generic brand in the past, like the one store that makes everyone satisfied. The period and the era is almost in the past. In the future, every target audience will have their own choices, will have their own the brand that they like. So you need to decide the positioning of the market, and you need to make some choices. No choices, no strategy. And then when you decided your marketplace and you have your own unique product, you need to design and define your customer group. Like I mentioned before, that if you want to sell the younger people, maybe you need to decide your price. Maybe younger people, they don't have enough money to buy your product. So how to define your customer group, and how to set up the price, and what types of customer they need, what types of the pricing skill. So this is the three elements that when we build the brand, build an entirely brand, which is very important. So drive the strategy differentiation, and then market positioning, no choices, no strategy, and then define the customer group. So let's recap for a little bit, and then take maybe 30 minutes or 1 minute break. Then we will come back. When we come back, I'll take you guys to see through the three items that I have just talked about.